Just wanted to chat for a minute about Fights First, coming into 11th edition. So I'm hearing a lot of just general chatter about Fights First is not impactful in 11th. I think that it's going to be less impactful in 11th than it was in 10th, which is going to allow it to be put on a lot more units, and that does seem to be the vibe that they're going for. Now, Sword Brethren in their detachment get Fights First. Our Flawless Blades in their detachment gets Fights First. You could... It's basically just going to give you a way to express more skill in a melee matchup. Ultimately, that's what Fights First is going to be. That's what a lot of this stuff is going to be. A lot of this stuff is just giving you more ability to express a skill level in a melee matchup. The extra pile-in steps, the overrun fights, all of that is just the ability to express more skill in a melee matchup. A lot of people are upset about this because Fights First doesn't work as like, oh, I got my Fights First guy, get out of jail free card. It's not that anymore. You will have to think about where you want to Fights First. You will have to think about where you want to do the heroic intervention. You will have to think about what unit you want to choose to fight first. If you're attacking an army with a lot of Fights First in it, you're going to have to think about all of this stuff. You can set up a unit on an objective as bait within heroic range of a Fights First unit, while another Fights First unit goes and flips their natural. So let's say... the example that comes to mind, because I was arguing with Implausible Nature about it, is if I have Fights First, so the detachment gives Sword Bros Fights First. That's kind of what it does, right? It gives them Fights First and some other benefits. So if I have a Fights First unit of Sword Bros, like let's say I just have two of these, okay? You got two units of Sword Bros, they Fights First. I'm going to park one on an objective on my opponent's natural expansion, and then I'm going to park another one behind my natural expansion where there's something on there that I do not want them to chase. But if they get on my natural expansion, so they can't be shot, they're on my natural expansion, so if they get on my natural expansion, I can heroic them and go and take them off my natural expansion in their turn. So what's going to happen is they're going to have to charge my Sword Bros, right, on their natural. They're going to have to charge that unit of Sword Bros, unless they can shoot them to death. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. If they can, whatever. They're probably not on the objective anyways. But it doesn't matter. So let's say they don't get shot to death for whatever reason. I got a unit of Fights First Sword Bros on my opponent's natural, and then I've got a unit of Fights First Sword Bros on my natural, and they have to charge me to get rid of one or both of those units if they want to hold objectives, because now the Sword Bros have 2 OC. It's another thing in that objective, and they're saying that that's a bad unit. It's not a bad unit. That's just a unit that's a tool in your toolbox, and you have to understand the tool and use the tool effectively. Now, some tools are easier to use. If you're trying to use a screwdriver as a hammer, you know, it's harder. It's harder than using a hammer as a hammer. That's why they make hammers. That's why they make screwdrivers. Try to use a hammer as a screwdriver. You can't. Well, I guess you kind of can. But anyways, that's the whole reason behind, like, all the extra stuff that they're giving you as far as Fights First goes, is that they're going to give you more of it. You're just going to have more instances of that in the game. Like right now, Fights First, nothing really has it. I don't think World Eaters even have access to a Fights First unit. So more common Fights First wouldn't hurt anything at all there. So anyways, you just have to know, like, what you can do with stuff, and what you got to reach into the bag of tricks. One guy told me Fights First, or the Sword Brethren and Black Templar, are too expensive and don't do what a Defiler does. And I'm like, okay. So first off, there's only going to be one best unit in your codex. Pro tip, it's Crusader squads. You can run 120 Crusaders. So just do that. If you want the most points efficient in your unit in your codex, it's that one, okay? You can stack buffs on it all day. It'll kill anything in the game, and it's 150 points with 2 character attachments for 180. So there it is. That's your unit. Go play that. Also, there's only going to be one most efficient unit in the game. Happens to be a Defiler right now, and CSM. The CSM Defiler. That's the winner. There's only going to be one of those two, and probably your faction doesn't have access to it. Like, what are we thinking here? You only get one. Anyways, I'm going to stop ranting, but that's just my thoughts right now on the fights first and things like that. Like there are uses for it. You just have to use skill to use it now. It's not a one shot, hey, now the lion gets to kill you because you couldn't kill him in shooting. Like that, it doesn't work that way anymore. You get to actually think about it from an opponent and a player standpoint. You have to actually factor it into what you're doing and try to use it effectively. Like, it's just a different tool now. That's all. Nice talking to you.